Time to round up a big topic from the week. Marijuana shaping up to be an issue in the district attorney's race. Both candidates say they're tough on crime, but their positions on the issue are softening. Harris County District Attorney candidate Kim Ogg is calling for a ceasefire. She says it's time to stop locking people up for small amounts of the drug. She says the majority of people convicted for misdemeanor possession are minorities, and convictions for even small amounts prevent people from getting jobs, student loans later down the line. In a statement, District Attorney Devon Anderson agreed with Ogg that low-risk offenders are putting a strain on the legal system. So should the state consider decriminalizing marijuana possession? That's our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page or send a tweet using the hashtag Fox26forlife. In our newsroom, we have our legal analyst Chris Tritico, news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. All right, guys, I know Kim Ogg says that this would save $10 million a year, would put police officers back on the street by not arresting and requiring them to do community service instead of jail time.
Well, look, thousands and thousands of people in Harris County every year get arrested for a small amount of marijuana, under 4 ounces of marijuana, which is a Class B misdemeanor offense in Texas, and that carries a punishment range of up to 180 days in the county jail, in the county in which you're arrested in. Now, very few people go to jail for that unless they want to, because they don't want to do probation. But it's still a conviction, and it can come back and have severe collateral consequences for someone who wants to do something productive with their life. In the last 12 months, you've had the President of the United States say it ain't that big a deal, which I didn't agree with that statement. The governor of the state of Texas say he wants to decriminalize it. The Harris County District Attorney wants to decriminalize it, and her opponent wants to decriminalize it, Mustafa Tamiz. And I think that Kim Ogg made a pretty good point. Why are we spending this much resources when the police department announced 2 weeks ago it can't investigate 20,000 burglaries a year?
That makes complete sense. But it's funny that when we look at all the different issues, the one issue that we can build on both sides of the aisles is marijuana.
We all want to smoke pot.
It says something about our political establishment. But look, I think it is a good idea. I think we're throwing a lot of money away, and we need a smarter, better way of policing. And one of the things is to decriminalize marijuana.
Is Texas ready to do this? We said, we talked about this before, we said a year ago, all three of us, this is not going to happen in Texas. Now it looks like it's all, the political winds are changing on this.
There's some smoke. Inhaling.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I was looking at this and I said, who are all these people out there smoking pot? I mean, this is crazy to me. And yes, we discussed this a year ago. I said, there's no way, we're too conservative. I am conservative. I won't even touch that stuff, but clearly there are people out there who really enjoy this stuff, and it's draining our resources, and that's why you're seeing Kim. She rolled out her plan, and our district attorney, she has a plan as well. They sound like we haven't seen the pilot program that Ms. Anderson has, but it sounds like it's going to be comparable. And most importantly, we're looking at tax dollars. If we can use our tax dollars to try to catch the burglars and to try to look at other more crimes that are impeding and hurting our residents, then we need to focus on that instead of stuff like smoking pot.
I want to come back and talk about
people need to stop smoking so much pot.
Come back and talk about the political side of this press conference when we come back, but Sally's monitoring our social media.
Yeah, I love how Jackie always tries to pretend she's so innocent. Right? Okay. All right, let's go to Twitter, right, guys? Alex says, former head of Crime Stoppers, that's what Kim Ogg is, wants to stop creating criminals out of people with cannabis. Someone tell me when and where I can vote. And then let's head over to our Facebook page this morning. Andrea says, legalize, regulate, and tax. Until then, only jail time if another crime is committed or if selling to a minor.
You know, and that's
so she's saying, a lot of people saying tax, tax, tax.
Well, and Texas actually already has a law that if you sell marijuana, you have to go buy a tax stamp. And if you buy the tax stamp, you will not be investigated for selling marijuana. It's really a weird law. No one ever does it because they're afraid of the collateral consequences. I want to talk about the political side of this press conference last week. Devon Anderson is in trial, trying a capital murder case. Kim Ogg, Devon's been working on a plan. Kim Ogg calls this press conference while she's in trial, announces her plan ahead of her.
Well, look, you know, what Kim's trying to say, look, I already have a plan. I thought about this while you're, trying to figure it out, and I think it's a good positioning on her part. And, you know, she's proactive. She's actually putting forward ideas, and her campaign's taking fire. People are paying attention.
How about that?
I'll give the right spin on that. You know, Kim is a political beast, so she said, "Look, this is my opportunity to beat Miss Anderson to the punch." We all know that Devon has a plan. She's been working on it, but she's in trial. So Kim sort of just circumvented the whole process, tried to beat her at the punch. The good thing for Ms. Anderson is we do know that she's been working on something. They are both aligned on the same page as far as this particular policy piece is concerned. But Kim, being in a campaign and she's very aggressive, decided, well, I'm just going to roll mine out
And
first.
as a campaign strategy, it was pretty good to force Devon Anderson to say, I agree with Kim Ogg.
Well, the other part is that you know, our DA went out first that she was against it, then she was for it. Because when the president
She was
spoke,
opposed to what the president said.
Well, when the president spoke, she took a pretty strong position against it. When the Governor Perry came in
3 days
February,
later,
she came to the other side. So I think it makes sense for Kim Ogg to kind of press the issue.
But
But
there
to
is
be
a
fair, the
difference.
president's statement
Right.
was a lot
I was
different than
gonna
what
say
the
that.
governor said.
I was
But her
going to say
response
that.
was pretty
As
intense.
it should be. You know, you need to be responsible. Devon has teenagers like I do. You have to be responsible. You can't say, oh, it's okay to smoke pot. I did it. And the president was actually bringing a lot of his personal viewpoints about weed, and we don't need our young teenage boys to hear stuff
Listen
like
to
that.
our president. I agree with that, actually. All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in about 30 minutes.
Okay, we're going to talk about Obamacare and the rulings that came down this week then. We'll see you then.